All right, let's talk about something that sounds like pure movie magic. What if you could take a super simple video, maybe just you in your backyard wearing a hoodie, and with a click, turn it into this big, high budget cinematic scene? It sounds like total science fiction, right? Well, today we're going to dive into how it's actually happening right now. Seriously? Just think about this for a second. What if you could swap out your normal, everyday clothes for, I don't know, the gear of a Western outlaw, or maybe a sci-fi hero? And what if you could do it all in just a few minutes for less than the price of a cup of coffee? That's the wild promise of the tech we're looking at today.
And here it is. This is the magic trick in action. On the left, you've got this basic clip shot in a backyard. But look at the right. That is the exact same person, but now they're a gritty Western outlaw. They've got the leather duster, the hat, even the lighting and the whole vibe has been totally transformed. So how on earth is this possible?
Well, the secret sauce here is a tool called Kling 3.0 Omni. You can think of it like a visual effects artist that you can talk to. Instead of needing this huge team of artists, you can now just use plain English, simple text prompts, to pull off these super complex video edits. And believe me, it is absolutely changing the game for creators. So, what is this thing, really? At its core, Kling 3.0 Omni is an AI tool that lets you swap out not just clothes, but whole characters and even the entire background of your video. And all it needs from you are two things: a text prompt telling it what you want, and a reference picture to show it the style you're going for. You're probably thinking, okay, this has got to be super complicated, right? But that's the crazy part. The whole process is incredibly simple. It's just a quick 4-step workflow that takes your normal footage and gives it that amazing cinematic look. And before we even get into the steps, you have to see this. One high-quality generation costs you about $1.80. Now compare that to hiring a VFX artist to manually cut out an actor frame by painful frame, a process that can take weeks and cost thousands of dollars. The accessibility here it's just mind-blowing. Okay, so let's walk through it. It's crazy simple. First, you upload your video, like that backyard clip. Step 2, you give it a reference image. So for the Western example, that was a picture of an old leather duster. Step 3 is where you write your prompt. And you want to be specific here. Something like, replace the modern jacket with the Western duster from the reference image. And then, step 4, you just hit generate. That's it. So you hit generate, grab a coffee, and wait for about 5 minutes. In that time, the AI is doing all the heavy lifting. It literally just paints the new clothes from your reference image right onto your character in the video. And it does all this while trying its best to keep their face and their movements looking just like the original. Okay, but let's be real. Is it perfect every single time? Not quite. Like with any brand new tech, you might see some little glitches. So let's pull back the curtain for a second and talk about the common issues and, more importantly, how you can fix them.
Sometimes you might notice the edges around the new clothes look a little shimmery or wonky, or maybe the character's skin looks a bit waxy or, too sharp. If you run into stuff like that, there's a pretty easy fix. The recommendation is to run your clip through a tool like Topaz Starlight Precise 2. It just helps smooth everything out for that really clean, professional finish.
So yeah, the tech is really cool. We've covered the how, but the why? The why is the really big deal here, because what we're looking at is a brand new creative frontier. This isn't just some fun toy. It's a tool that completely changes what's possible, especially for independent storytellers. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. For so long, if you had a big, imaginative idea for a film, your budget was your biggest enemy. A period piece, a fantasy epic. These things were just out of reach for most indie creators because costumes and sets cost a fortune. This technology is starting to tear down that wall. So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, AI can now do these insane costume swaps that used to take forever. Second, the whole thing is fast, it's affordable, and just about anyone can do it. This gives creators the power to make these incredible, high-concept visuals, which means, and this is the big one, our stories are no longer being held back by the size of a costume budget. And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. When one of the biggest, most expensive barriers to creating new worlds just disappears. When costumes basically cost nothing, what kind of stories are we going to see? What incredible new ideas, once considered impossible, are finally going to get told? That's the new reality we're all stepping into.